Greetings and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's my 30th birthday and I bought myself a fig tree for a birthday present. I wanted to take a closer look at it for the channel. This is an Osborne fig cutting. It's a rooted cutting which I purchased in Fredericksburg a couple of weeks ago for about 200 bucks. It is in a 15-gallon container and it's really big. You can tell that it's a rooted branch cutting for a bunch of different reasons, but the number one is like this branch here that's growing down. I figured this branch was probably at a side angle at some point, or maybe some other weird different angle, and so you have some of these branches growing in kind of funny directions. When I purchased this tree, I mean, is covered in fruit and had a whole bunch of fruit on it, and I'm not sure if borers or wasps or something else have tried to lay eggs in my fruit. They're kind of secreting a little bit of sap. I don't know if that's normal, but I can see even some of the green ones, and this one right here is probably pretty close to being ripe. It's still a little firm, but this purple one here, I can definitely pull this off. I've pulled a few off already, and some of the ants made their way to a few of these. When I pop into them, you can see that they're very ripe. So I'm gonna take this one inside and wash it up a little bit. I'm not sure if there's larvae in this from these little secretions on the back, as I mentioned, but the fruit looks really good. I'm really excited for this tree. As I said, it's probably one of the biggest cuttings I've ever purchased. If you've been watching the channel for a good long time, then you'll know that in the, when was that? In the spring of 2020, I planted a Celeste fig tree, or a brown turkey fig rather, at my old home. And unlike this cutting, which has a pretty large trunk bore, like this branch here is probably at the root maybe 1.5 inches across. When I planted one of my earlier fig trees, it was maybe about 1 centimeter across at the base of the trunk. And so this is a lot larger, but that old fig tree that I planted is now about 5 feet tall at my old home. And so I've been wanting to plant this fig tree in my backyard when the temperature cools down. We're still in the triple digits, so I'm not going to plant it anytime soon. Probably going to be at least another 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to wait for a high of about 90 degrees before planting this, and so far we've got triple digit highs for foreseeable future, at least 2 or 3 weeks. But here in the shade, whoops, tripped there, in the corner of my patio behind my home here, it gets a lot of shade, which is nice, and it's still getting beat up by the heat. It is going to replace some of my peach trees here, which have unfortunately been pretty damaged. So these trees were doing a lot healthier a few months ago, but unfortunately we paid a friend to do a little yard work for us, and he accidentally weed whacked the bottom of these 2 fruit trees, and borers got into the base. So this tree is barely holding on. I'm gonna get some neem oil for these guys to really help them out, but this tree is for sure dead. The one in the background did not get weed whacked, and you can see, I mean, we got a few yellow leaves here, but nothing compared to those other 2. And that one's doing great. These here didn't do so great this last spring, but now they're especially dead. Look at how bad the weed whacker dealt with this one. Yikes. Yeah, that is done for. That is done ski-doo. And in this heat, there's not a chance. So I'm gonna dig out a big hole, and we are gonna put our fig tree in that hole, which I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I've probably planted at this point 10 fig trees over the past couple of years, and most of them have just died in the inclement weather, but I'm hoping that this one will pull through. Even though I predict we're probably gonna get some severe winter weather this season, I'm gonna just plant it and see what happens. My wife and I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do for my birthday this year, so thought I'd show it off for the channel. Stay tuned to see how it turns out. So I've brought our fruit inside. As you can see, it's not the prettiest. It's kind of purplish green. Like I said, these secretions on the bottom might mean that I'm eating some wasp larvae, but I'm gonna let you know what I think. Bottoms up. It's really good. I don't know if it's the wasp, but figs are always excellent. I can't stand super hot figs, which these sitting outside in the 100-degree heat, it's like eating warm jam, but it's good.
If you're still watching at this point of the video, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel so you can stay updated with how the fig cutting turns out. Thanks again for watching Austin, Texas Gardening.